Hi, welcome everybody to part 3 of our playlist of videos of developing accountancy software, bookkeeping software. So we've already set the scene in part 1 and we've done the installation of Laravel and Vue.js in part 2. So in this part, what we want to do, I want to sort of just explain a few things of how we're going to go forward. Ordinarily, if we were going to develop something as big as this, you'd want to sort of take an overall view and plan out all the parts. But because this is a tutorial on how to develop, I'm sort of working from the inside out. So I'm going right to the core, and then we're going to work out. So we're going to develop the basics, and then enhance that, and then add more features and enhance that, and so on, until eventually we're padded out from the middle. This isn't normally how I would do it in production, and I wouldn't recommend it. But for the purposes of tutorial and teaching, that's what we're going to do. But what that means is that some of the code I write, the first time I write it and we do it, if you're a seasoned developer, you're going to look at it and go, no, that's not how we do it. And that's fine. I mean, I'm welcome to comments. I'm not saying that every bit of code I write is going to be the right way, but some of the code I'm going to refactor later on as we get more and more into the system. So I don't want to try and do it all at once the right way. I'd rather just do it bit by bit and then come back to it. That said, if you've any feedback at all about anything I'm writing, please put it in the comments, and then at least I can see that people are noticing things that I may have missed. The other thing I want to talk about related to that actually is we said that we wanted to sort of start simply and then maybe develop more sophisticated stuff later on, like different APIs and whatever. And yet I've started this off with two separate sites, the Laravel one and the Vue.js one. And I'm sort of thinking maybe that's just too much too soon to start. So what I'm going to do is, for now, we're going to park the Vue.js front end and we're just going to do everything in Laravel. Now, obviously, we'll need some kind of JavaScript in the front end. Laravel, you can have Vue installed to it, so we can use the components. We could use jQuery or something like that, but I was thinking if we use Vue as drop-in components, then when we come to shift it across to a SPA, we hopefully can use a lot of them components and just literally copy them across. So that's my thinking on that anyway, because that's sort of the premise of partly why Vue works so well, is it can just drop in everywhere. So we'll still use Vue anyway, but maybe just for specific components on the page. But the general client-server interaction, we're just going to do through Laravel, use Blade templates, controllers, models, the normal stuff. Anyway, that's enough of that introduction. Let's get started on the actual code. So, what we'll do is we'll obviously get rid of this because we don't need that. We'll close this down for now. We don't need that. So we've just got our Laravel repo, and we also need to just remove the Vue folder from the workspace. So we've just got the Laravel one there now. So that's cool. Okay, so we want to start at the beginning. Now, like I said, at the beginning ordinarily would be me planning out loads of models and how they interact with one another, foreign keys, that kind of thing. But we're not going to do it. We're going to go right to the core of what our bookkeeping accounting software is, and then we're going to build out from that. And at the core of any accounting software, of accounts full stop, software or paper based, is something called nominal accounts. Now if you've run any kind of business or worked in an accounts department or done any kind of bookkeeping software, you'll be familiar with the idea of what a nominal account. So as much as I'm not going to explain accounts in this tutorial, you are going to hopefully understand some of the stuff I mentioned, but we will sort of talk through some of it. A nominal account, I don't know if there's an official definition, and a lot of this is just based on my own experience as a bookkeeper and accountant. But a nominal account is a means of measuring a particular activity, a financial activity within a business, and reporting that back in along other accounts to give an indication as to what the business is actually doing. So you'll know this as perhaps sales, purchases, expenses, assets, if you've done any kinds of accountancy. More specifically, it could be sales of staplers, sales of your hourly rate, so maybe days rate if you're contracting, Purchases could be, what could purchases be? Stock, if you buy stock to make something up to sell, or if you just resell. Expenses is things like overheads, so rent, travel expenses, stationery, anything like that. And then you have things like assets, so you get into all the things like written down allowance and all that. We'll come to all the accountancy detail side maybe a bit later on. We're not really interested in the accountancy rules. We just want to make sure that the software can handle the implementation of those rules, whatever they may be. So, but the nominal account is effectively a list of all these different financial slices of the business as to where, and it basically keeps a track of where the money's come from, where the money's going to, where the money is, and where the money is owed to. If you can sort of think of it in them four terms. So money comes from as sales, money goes to as purchases and expenses, money, where the money is like bank balance, stock, values, and who the money's owed to is like the liability. That's perhaps if the business owners put money in. And these nominal accounts, if you group them the right way, provide that information great for businesses, and that's why they're so useful. So we need to think about creating the model. So first thing we're going to do is create the nominal account model. So I think we're in our Valet folder, so we can concentrate on here now. So what I'm going to do is create the model, artisan make model. We'll create the migration to go along with that because we don't have that yet in our database. Ooh, that's a point. We haven't set up our database. We'll come back to that in a moment. So make model. We're going to put it in a models folder just to sort of separate it out a bit better. I'll explain that in a sec. And then we're going to call it nominal account. Let me just make this a bit bigger. So where are we? Artisan make model -m models nominal account. Okay, so that should create our model and migration. What I want to do actually, at the minute, Laravel by default doesn't put, I've just created that models folder and there's the nominal account in there, but Laravel doesn't put a models folder in by default, which is unusual. They obviously have a reason for that. I think the official explanation is it's up to us to put that wherever we want. But in reality, I don't understand, because they do put the controllers in a specific place here. They put the views down here. So I don't know. Anyway, it's not a big change to change this around, but we just need to set up the user and all references to the user class. So we'll put the user in there. Oh, it's /, isn't it? Of course. There we go. Okay, now this is weird because in Laravel 6, when I last did this, there was about 6 or 7 references, but in Laravel 7 there appears to be only 2. Okay, well that's fine. So all we need to do, we've moved the user class, and we need to put that into, we just need to put models in like that, and the same with this one in the user factory, which we're probably not going to use, but we'll change it anyway. Okay, so that's the 2 references done. The other thing I didn't do was I didn't change the namespace in the actual app class, user class itself. So we'll put that as app models. Save that, so we can get rid of them too. Okay, so we've got our user class. The first stage of our development, we're not really going to bother about the user. Again, because we're working from the middle, we're going to just develop the functionality. Then we'll create a user system, a single user system. Then we'll create a multi-user system, and then we may progress to then the different interfaces like Vue, SPA, or a multi-tenant, multi-user system where you have multiple installations on one domain. I don't know, but we're going to start with basically ignoring the user for now. We're just going to get the actual functionality up and running. Again, just want to emphasize, I wouldn't normally do it this way if I was building from scratch. It's for the purpose of the tutorial. I think they call it spiral of programming, where you learn from the beginning and come out. I don't know. Anyway, so that's how we're doing it. So we've got our nominal account class. Excellent. So let's go to our migration. Oh yeah, we need to set up the database. Now I'm just going to use SQL Pro for this. I need to use localhost, and Don't have small accounts there, do I? No. So let's add small accounts as a database. I like to use MB4 just to future proof. Okay, so small accounts. Now I know locally, we need to set up the .env, don't we? .env. I know locally laravel username is root because it's global, password is blank, but the database, is that right? Yeah, small. Okay, so I know the database is small accounts. So this is, we'll set this up while we're here. Small accounts.test. I've got my app key, app name. Not sure that it's going to be one word or two, but I'll do it as one for now. I think everything else is fine. I'm not using any of this for now. We will come back to things like the S3. We're going to be doing some file storage on an S3 type of bucket. That's way down in the future. The one thing I want to do is make this secure. You notice at the minute we're working locally, which isn't normally a problem, but some things don't work well if you're not running secure, even locally for testing. So I like to make it secure just from the outset. So the easy way to do that is just to do valet secure, and it may ask for my password. Should have installed a certificate for us. So you'll notice at the minute, before I reload, we're not secure. There we go, small accounts.test. So what I want to do now is just put the S in there, and if I reload this page, excellent, we're now secure even though we're working locally. So our local development is good. So let's go back to this model which we were working on, nominal account. Okay, so if we think of what we need, and bear in mind we're going to be coming back to this to add to, and change and so on, so we're not putting in the final structure of the model here and now. It's actually the migration I want to work with here. So it gives us the auto ID, and they created that and updated that fields, which is the timestamps. So the one thing we know we're going to need for definite is a name. So we know we can put a name in. Table string name, and we're going to say it has to have a name, so we're not going to put any optional default null or nullable or anything like that in there. So that's fine. Let's run that migration. Incidentally, you may be familiar with using Artisan, where you do PHP Artisan. That's the normal way of doing it. I've just made it locally so that the Artisan command is executable. Some people have even shortened it to ART. I think there's a way of doing it like that. I'm happy with this. So let's run the migration. Migrate. Okay, so first time round, that's running, and we can just check the database here. Yes, so we have our tables. Excellent. Okay, so let's just check that the tables are the name. Yeah, so we've got our name in there. That's cool. So let's think about this. I suppose if we set up a simple admin for this. So what we could do, we could write our own admin for now. Let's do admin as if we're not using any other libraries. Maybe in a future video we might import some library that helps us to flesh out admin CRUD systems easier. For now, we'll just get something up and running quickly. So what you can do is artisan make make a controller, and then we can say nominal accounts. Oh, I've been visited by my cat. Hello, want to come say hello to the people? There you go. This is Twinkle. There you go. Yeah, get on the bed. Yeah, revisit. So, nominal account controller, and then what we can do is to put in the model equals models nominal account. Let's just check I've done that right. Okay, so the controller's created correctly. That this model equals models nominal account should, I'm hoping this has worked. HTTP controllers. Oh, do I need to refresh that? Oh yeah, nominal accounts controller. Yay. So the actual command of make controller has given us this with the class. By putting models equals nominal account, we now have fleshed out all the CRUD methods that we need for that particular model if you were following the traditional route. We will for now. But there's another idea I want to propose after we've done that here. It's not a huge thing to change it, but we'll just stick to this for now. So let's first of all get a list of all nominal accounts. So we could say nominal accounts equals nominal account, and we'll just say all. Return view nominal, is it nominal account slash index? Is that how you do it? Can't. Oh, do you know what? My mind's been a while since I've used normal blade. Return view nominal accounts index. Now I don't know. Did this put the roots in for us? No. Okay. So we need to put a root in here as well. So root resource. So we'll do it nominal hyphen accounts. And we'll go to the nominal accounts controller. Okay. So that gives us our root to the controller. The controller allows us to get the data. We return it to nominal accounts index. So we need to create that view. So resources, views, create a new folder. Nominal accounts, and then new file. index.blade.php. So we want to we need to create the layout. Composer require laravel UI. Good if we did the right one, wouldn't it? So composer require laravel UI. That's better. So it now says if we do artisan UI help, let's see, artisan UI help, let's see what we've got available to us. I'm just going to make this a bit bigger so we can see what's going on. Swap the front end scaffolding for the application. No, this is when we come to oh no, we do want to install Vue, but this isn't what I thought we were doing to get the layout. Is this what creates the layout? Let's try it. So UI, artisan UI options. We do view auth. Okay, this is fine for when we come to use the view, but the problem with this is, does it create our layouts folder? Let's have a look in views. Let's refresh that. Oh, it has. Haha, it has. There we go. That's what I was after. So it's a bit of a weird way to come around that. So basically what we have to do, just to review that, composer require laravel UI, and then where did I run? Artisan UI view auth. So they're the two commands, and that gives us this layouts folder with this preset template with HTML in already. It's just so much easier rather than trying to write all that out ourselves. So anyway, that's cool. So now that we've got that, I can go into the index and I can extends layouts.app, which basically means we don't have to write the HTML page out in full. And then I can just now have a section. Now this is specifically for what this page is going to show. I need to put some Blade. If somebody knows of one of the good extensions for Blade, I'd be more than happy with that. There's nothing coming up. Okay, so I'm doing it all manually. So let's create a div. Let's end the section. Okay. So we now have, from this controller, we have now a variable. Oh, we didn't pass it in. So we need to pass a variable in, which is, I'm going to call it NominalAccount, which is the key, and the value is the actual collection that we got from the query here. So we now have this available to us in this view. So the easiest thing to do is just loop over it for each nominal accounts as nominal account at end for each. Okay, so I'm hoping if I just put a div in here and then say the best thing that can happen right now is that nothing happens because we've no data, but if there's no error it means I've done it right first time. It's always a good thing. So let's see if that works. Well, the site's still working fine, so let's see if our route works. (404) not found. Nominal hyphen accounts. Oh, we commented it out, didn't we, when we had that error before? So let's bring that back in. And we do have an error. Well, it was a good try, wasn't it? Okay. So let's see where we've gone wrong. Use of undefined constant nominal accounts controller and in the roots file. Okay. Nominal accounts controller. Do I have to quote that? Aha. And okay, so it's showing us the template stuff for not being logged in, which is that you have to log in or register. That's fine. And it's showing us the navbar link. That's fine. But we have no error. As far as I can see, if I just do a tail on the log, let's just load that again. No, okay, we have no error, but we have no data because we haven't put anything in. So what I'm going to do, rather than having to create every time, is we'll create a seed, which allows us just every time we run the migration, it automatically puts the data in. So artisan make seed. Actually, do you know what? I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to put it in the generic seed that's here. Where's my database folder? There. So seeds, database seed, Okay. So I'm just going to stick it in here for now. We may refactor this later on. So we need to add nominal account create, and the only thing we have to specify at the moment is the name. So let's just start off with sales. Let's just create one called sales, and we're going to need to import that on the namespace. So use app nominal account. Okay, so now let's rerun our migration. This time, so we'll run migration like we did earlier. We'll run refresh so that we start again. It wipes out the data and then starts it again. But this time we'll put the seed option, and this allows us just to add any data in to start off with in that table that we've just created. So, how does that migrate? It's not migration. It's migration when you create it. So app nominal account not found. Oh, it's app models, isn't it? Duh. Not mine, but I'm the one who chose to put it there. Okay, let's try that. Great. So all the migrations have run. But now if we look in the database, we have our sales. Our sales entry has been put in by seeds, and more importantly, please work. Yay, there we go. We have our sales has been brought in from the database. Now this is all very basic Laravel stuff, so I don't know why I'm cheering myself as if I've done some major achievement here. Suffice to say, let me just get that out of the way. Now this is good, even if I do say so myself. But we have our basic CRUD system starting to take shape. So let's just spend a bit more time fleshing this out. Yeah. We'll just tidy this up, I think. In fact, what we'll do, I'll tell you what, we'll end this here, because what I want to do now that I know this works, what I want to do now is add Tailwind as the style and framework to pad things out. And we'll also get Vue up and running as well in the Laravel system rather than as a standalone project. I don't know if we'll actually use Vue specifically at this point, but it'd just be nice to get the thing up and running, make sure it all is working for us. So let's end this video here. I'll push this one up to GitHub at this point, so check the list of commits on GitHub for the one you're after, and don't forget to run your migrates now if you're installing this and anything else you need to do. I think that's it. Thank you very much. Look forward to the next part.